Ellen McCauley at Pray It Off in Syracuse, New York. And as always, I'm going to ask you to look behind the log sheet. And there's a little something for you to put on your refrigerator. Tonight, we're going to talk about being nice to yourself and how it relates to your weight loss. Also, we want you to be nice to others, but not at your own expense. And that's where we, as nice and kind people, sometimes have a difficult time. So this says, treat yourself the way you would treat a small child. Feed yourself healthy food and make sure you spend time outside. Put yourself to bed early. Let yourself take naps. Don't say mean things to yourself. And don't put yourself in danger. Your skull and your heart are still as fragile as eggshells. Why don't we treat ourselves the way we would treat a small child? Would you say to a small child, why don't you just eat whatever you want? Because I'm not talking about your grandchildren, because usually grandparents do that, But I'm talking about your own children who you were a little tougher with. So let's start by thinking about being nice to ourselves. And then say, is being too nice making you fat? This is a weight loss group, and this is a little article here about a woman who came from a family that adored eating and that it comforted them. Now, we had a Mr. Softy truck that would come up our street, and our family would never miss lining up for a banana boat. We didn't just want an ice cream cone. We had the full-blown, we'd hear that music, whatever it was. You'd think it'd be emblazoned in my brain. And I even drove a Mr. Softy truck one summer, and the owner said to me, eat as much as you want, you'll get sick of it. I gained 40 pounds in one summer. True story. Some days I would put my mouth under the hot fudge pie. I'm being honest here. And needless to say, it was not a good job for me. It was not a good job. I was the #1 seller, which is surprising since I got high on my own supply. But other than that, it was not a good job. So this woman comes from a family who loved to eat. I've noticed then, usually you don't see like skinny mom, skinny dad, skinny brother, skinny sister, one chunky girl. Usually you see chunky mom, chunky dad, chunky brother, sisters. I do think sometimes there is a little genetic and a little environmental all rolled into one. And when you have that all rolled into one, it can be a little dangerous. So she said her parents controlled their weight by smoking and drinking. And that's true. Our family all smoked and we all drank too. So we had a triple target or whatever. And by the time this woman got old enough to drink and smoke, she'd been on dozens of diets. There's gadgets. I mean, one person said to me tonight, have you heard about this blah blah diet? And I said, yeah, I've heard of them all. I don't think any of them work. I don't think any pill works. I don't think anything works, but consistently over time, trying to eat less, eat healthy, move more, ask God to help. God. That is the ticket. So, you try the diet, you try the gadgets, and you know what's interesting? She says, if you're fat enough, you might as well wear a sign that says, go ahead and criticize me. Here I am. It's like the one last taboo left. And if they're not criticizing you to your face, which sometimes they do, oh, you better believe if you're in McDonald's getting a Whopper with cheese and you weigh 371, someone behind you is thinking, I think they should have gotten the salad, perhaps, So, she says that she was a nice girl, and she took this criticism quietly. When they would call me Ellen Bellin the watermelon, I was bullied before I even knew what bullying was. They called me everything. McCauley Mountain. You know how there's that skiing mountain? So I was McCauley Mountain, the ski slope. They had a million names. But I fought bullying with my personality. I was the funniest. I was the nicest. It was hard to bully me because I was so darn nice. I was so darn funny. I ended up being very popular despite my weight, but it internally did a number on me, as most bullying does. So this woman, through dieting and maniacally exercising, got to a good weight, and then she had children. And don't we do that sometimes, women? You got the man now, he's there, have some kids, okay, I'm going to have some middle-aged spread here. And then we try dieting, we relapse. We try going to Weight Watchers, we quit. This woman says, clearly, although I believed I wanted to eat less, powerful subconscious forces were overriding my resolve. Some part of me needed to eat too much. Was there something about being overweight that I liked? How did it serve me? And I stopped when I read it and think, was there something about being overweight that I liked? Did I like it? How did it serve me? And you know what's interesting? I really don't think I liked it, but I used food as a comfort. I felt so stressed. I felt so anxious. I felt so much guilt. I felt all these feelings. Give me macaroni and cheese. Give me the pizza. Give me this food. And then she made an interesting notice something. Many of the nicest women, she says, but I think it's people in general, I knew were overweight. The nicest people, even a little or maybe a lot. I said yes to the world, and the world was usually ungrateful, which hurt my feelings, so I soothed myself with food. You know, it's interesting. I think one of the reasons why I am such a grateful person, why I always write copious thank you notes where I talk about everything that makes me happy about kindnesses and love, is because many times in my life I have either done something or gone out of my way and got no recognition for it, and I know how I felt when I was treated in an ungrateful manner. And when I felt like I worked so hard and tried so hard and didn't get the recognition I needed or wanted, I ate over it. And I think, too, a lot of nice people pay attention to the needs of others. And they're last on the list, and they're tired at the end of the day, and deprived of nurturing, we overeat for comfort. And then she said, was being overweight the price of being nice? Have you ever thought about that? How you can't say no, you can't say no, you can't say no, and then you get so stressed out, you figure, I need some comfort, and the food is there, and you think it comforts you, but I always say it's a temporary comfort. Now, she went in one direction. She decided that she was going to start being not so nice. Like if people asked her to do something, no. If they asked her to sit with someone she didn't want to sit with, she didn't. And she talked about people that, you know, the fellow teacher who refused to listen to students' rambling personal stories, or the person who always left meetings on time when the rest of us stayed to the bitter end. And she talks about how certain people handle the world when she was sitting there, you know, agonizing over things. So she said, I don't take any crap, and I don't eat any crap. And before she knew it, she lost 25 pounds. Now, I think there's a fine line here. I think you can still be nice to others. You don't have to turn into a mean queen, but you still have to have some boundaries so that you don't end up eating to compensate for being too nice. And I'm going to stop, Bob, and I want to go on to the next one.